Fox Sports.
We are Black. We are Southwest.
On the last day of August, your Rangers are prepared for the sprint to the finish. For the team to finish strong, contributions across the roster are not only expected, but required. Scott Feldman's spot start last night is an example, as is the play of David Murphy. This is familiar territory for Murph, having played a key role in last season's stretch drive with a September to remember. With Nelson Cruz out for the next few weeks, the Rangers are counting on him to pick up where Nelly left off. Stay tuned for Game 2. Texas and Tampa Bay next. After a 2-0 shutout in Game 1 of this 3-game series, the Rangers come back looking for more as they again play host to the Tampa Bay Rays. And we welcome you, Dave Barnett, along with Tom Grieve. The headlines about last night's game, all about Josh Hamilton's mammoth home run, the outstanding spot start by Scott Feldman. Don't let it be lost on you the continued outstanding play we're seeing from David Murphy.
Exactly. You know, David Murphy has kind of been biding his time all season long. He hasn't had a real opportunity to play every day. Hasn't been his best season so far. But with Nelly Cruz on the disabled list, now he's getting his opportunity to go out there every day, and he's really making it pay. A few days ago against the Angels, he turned a close game into a rout with a grand slam against Dan Herron. In last night's ball game, a close game all the way, turned a 1-0 game into a 2-0 game. That's where the game would end. Getting a chance to play, he knows he's going to be in the lineup, and in his last 15 bats, last 4 or 5 games, he's really producing for the ball club.
7 for his last 15, 2 homers, 7 runs batted in. Reminiscent of last September, Murphy making some mechanical and mental adjustments that are really paying off well for him. Here's James Shields' challenge tonight. For the Rangers, they hope it's a night where they see a return to form from Alexi Ogando, who was surprisingly homer-prone in his last outing. Ogando and Shields could be another strong pitching night at the ballpark. Lineups and the first pitch are next. Southwest brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. By Jack in the Box, try the new Jumbo Breakfast Platter for only $2.99. By a reminder from Budweiser, great times are waiting, designated driver. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. Let's check in with Rick Renner.
They completed a couple deals today. John Daniels told the media about it just before the game, picking up a pitcher, Michael Gonzalez from Baltimore. Should help in the pen. He's a good-looking lefty. And the return of Matt Trainer from Kansas City. He was that emotional leader on that World Series team last year. His teammates were ecstatic.
I don't know how much he's going to play or what the situation is for him, but the bottom line is he's part of the club. He's going to be with us. It's nothing but a good thing. He makes the mood around here so great. He makes the game more fun, and he's just a great teammate and a great guy to have around.
That's our Geico quote, and I can tell you this. John Daniels said he's a perfect fit. He knows the staff. He's very well liked, and guys can't wait to see him. He'll be here in uniform tomorrow.
That will be a very welcome addition to that Ranger clubhouse as Desmond Jennings leads off again for Tampa Bay. It's been a phenomenon since being called up on July 23rd. This is 37th game. And already with 8 home runs. Top 5 in the American League in hits, on base percentage, slugging percentage, number of other categories in just about 5 weeks. But a strikeout victim of Alexi Ogando to begin this game. Rest of the race, Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Johnny Damon is the DH. Evan Longoria playing at batting third. Ben Zobrist is cleanup hitting second base. Casey Koshman at first. B.J. Upton in center. Matt Joyce is in right. John Jaso behind the plate. And Sean Rodriguez again at short, batting ninth.
Take a look at the scouting report for Alexi. He's had 25 starts. The first 12 were better than the last 13, but it all adds up to solid numbers, 12-6 and a 3.57 ERA. One thing that hasn't wavered all season long is his velocity. He's had mid-90s velocity all season long. 151 innings this season, obviously the most he's ever thrown. Right-hand hitters have a lot of difficulty hitting him.
Bat goes flying past first. Ogando throws to Moreland at first for out number 2.
There's one for you.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that one. The whole bat. That bat didn't break. That's the whole bat right there. He lost the bat and hit a fair ball.
That was a Josh Hamilton-like bat toss, though.
That's a strange one. I mean, you'll see quite a few times a batter saw it off and the end of the bat fly through the air, but it's kind of rare to see a hitter make contact with the ball and lose the whole ball. Damon's trying to explain it to everybody. Probably hasn't seen it very much either.
Evan Longoria swings and misses. 0 for 4 last night, a strikeout, 3 groundouts, including the game-ending double play induced by Neftali Feliz. This is Alexi Ogando's 3rd try for win number 13. Coming off a loss last Thursday, 6-0 at the hands of the Red Sox. Powerful month of August wrapping up for Longoria. And home runs were the issue for Alexi on Thursday. In 4 innings, he allowed a career high 4 Red Sox long balls. Only 2 other base hits. And left-handed hitters were 6 for 13 against him. Something he will try to reverse tonight. There's that 97-mile-an-hour heater he's had all year. Start by start, and it's 2-2.
That's some heat right there, 98 miles an hour. Won't see many starters throwing 98 these days.
That's an impressive first inning. And the Rangers coming to bat. It will begin with Ian Kinsler. Elvis Andrus, Josh Hamilton is in left. Michael Young playing third with Adrian Beltre on the way back into the lineup tomorrow. Mike Napoli is catching. David Murphy in right. Yorvi Torrealba is the DH. Mitch Moreland batting eighth at first. Andy Chavez in center field against 29-year-old James Shields.
Well, it's been a terrific season for James Shields. They don't score a lot of runs for him. That's why he's only 12-10 with the sixth best ERA in the league. Fifth straight year he's thrown over 200 innings. He's had 10 complete games. That's 5 more than he had in his whole career. And he's pitched in the big leagues for 4.5 years. 25 strikeouts, only 3 walks in his last 3 starts. He is a strikeout pitcher, and he doesn't walk very many. He's got an excellent assortment of pitches. He's got a sneaky fastball in the low 90s, really good changeup, and a good assortment of breaking balls to go along with it.
Ian Kinsler hits that one pretty well, but it's tracked down by B.J. Upton. Defensively, Tampa Bay tied for the major league lead in fielding percentage with the Phillies. Jennings, Upton, Joyce the outfield, Longoria, Rodriguez, Zobrist, and Kochman in the infield. Jaso catching, the only change in Joe Maddon's lineup from last night. He had Kelly Shopik behind the plate. Elvis Andrus, 4 for his last 9 over the last 2 games, and he's had some success against Shields, 3 for 6. Shields with a similar approach to Jeremy Hellickson from last night. Fantastic changeup off that fastball. Will throw 2, 3 in a row. Any count. But bigger than Hellickson. He goes 6'4", 215. Out of Newhall High School in California. And John Hirschbeck behind the plate. Known pretty well as a strike caller. Wally Bell is at first, Vic Carapazza at second, and Laz Diaz at third.
Well, the thing that the changeup from Hellickson, the changeup from Shields has in common is they both have great movement. It just doesn't change speed, but it comes in and drops down, which makes it even tougher to hit.
You don't get too many full counts from Shields. He is averaging a major league low 14 pitches per inning. Another similarity. Usually you're going to have your best success first or second pitch you see from him. That line drive in there for a base hit. So the Rangers' first 2 hitters have had good swings, Kinsler and Andrus. Elvis aboard with one out for Hamilton.
He's throwing a strike on the 3-2 pitch, and it's a pretty good strike to hit. Right down the middle. Elvis is anticipating a fastball. He gets a great location, and he puts a nice swing on it. And it's a rope out to left field. Almost skipped right by Jennings.
So here is Hamilton, whose 19th home run of the year.
Watch out.
Was a beauty, and that rocket up the middle.
Wow. That was a low line drive. I don't know if Shields even saw that ball come back at him. First pitch fastball, and Josh wasted no time lining this in the center field. Boy, that is right over his head. Fortunately, his follow through took the top half of his body down low. He had time to duck a little bit more and turn his head, but he's just thanking his lucky stars that that ball didn't hit him. That came in at 90. It went out at about 110.
Shields almost gets a new part for his hair. Now he's got Michael Young with 2 on and 1 out. Michael a double last night. Scored the Rangers' second run on David Murphy's RBI single. 4 hits, and 2 have left the yard for Michael against Shields. Hirschbeck giving him the borderline inside strike, and it's 1-1. Michael just rolls on and on. He has reached base 27 of his last 28 games. Beyond that, 49 of his last 52. 22 3+ hit games. Tied for the most in the majors. Andrews dancing off second. And 2 balls and 2 strikes. Michael starts the day 6 points behind Adrian Gonzalez for the major league lead with his .336 batting average. 5 hits behind Gonzalez, who the Rangers will see again along with the rest of the Red Sox over the weekend. Final game of this series tomorrow night. Rangers will then fly up to Boston.
A lot of breaking balls. After Elvis hit the 3-2 fastball and Josh hit the first fastball right back at him, Michael's seen mostly sliders in this at bat. He took a nice changeup that was just a little bit low. We'll see right now what Shields is going to throw him. He certainly wants to throw him a strike right here. And he's already had a couple of his fastballs turned around. So will he come in with a fastball, or will he throw another slider? That's the question Michael's asking himself.
Down the right field line, Joyce chases it into the corner, can't make the catch.
And Joyce a little bit intimidated by the wall out there. Had time to get there, but it's very difficult if you're not used to playing the wall out there. You can't just sprint right into the wall. But all you can do right there is slide into the wall and let your feet cushion the blow and hope that you can reach out and catch it. Looked like a much easier play than it is when you're running full speed, chasing the ball, and the wall is right there.
So the Rangers making Shields work a little bit. 16th pitch of the inning coming. And it is low, and the bases are loaded for Mike Napoli.
Good job by Michael. Laid off a couple of close pitches. Worked Shields pretty well. Fouled off a 3-2 pitch and took ball 4.
Shields started the day with only 51 walks in his 201 innings. And here is Napoli getting the walk last night. Best hitter in the American League in the second half at .364. 4 home runs from his career high from a year ago. Shields one of those pitchers, Tom, where if you get a chance against him early, you never know if that might be your only chance.
Well, I think that's what they say about any good pitcher, and he's a pretty good pitcher, so he would fall into that category. Get your opportunity, take advantage of it.
This chopper fielded by Longoria, and that ends the inning. 5-4-3. So Shields loads the bases. 2 pitches to Napoli, and he's out of it.
Running out, Ranger fans have a chance to win a part of Ranger history. That is the American League Championship ring, just like the Rangers have. They have a raffle going on. In fact, the drawing will take place tonight. So you have a few hours to purchase those raffle tickets. Log on to TexasRangers.com/raffle. TexasRangers.com/raffle. Dave, Tom, Dollar Dog Night, and this guy's already warming up. That's the appetizer right there. There we go. Good luck, guy. There we go. Let's go, Rangers. How about it, huh? There we go, Dave.
All right, Jim. Here is Ben Zobrist to lead off the second inning. Alexi Ogando firing strikes, 2 strikeouts in the first. Zobrist last night 0 for 3. And he produced the lone put out by a Ranger outfielder. He had a fly ball to Andy Chavez off of Mark Lowe in the 7th inning. That was all the business the Ranger outfield would get last night. Switch hitting Zobrist. Hitter from the right side this year. The 307 hitter. Right-handed. 262 from this side. And a 3 for 21 slump as this game begins. He'll be followed by Konchman and Upton here in the Tampa Bay second.
Zobrist having another nice year. Got an outside chance to hit 50 doubles. He has 43 right now. He leads the league in doubles. 8th in the league in runs scored. Nice changeup. Wow. Generally, John Hirschbeck is a pitcher's umpire, but like he might have missed that one.
See that happen too often.
Changeup fooled the hitter. Might have fooled John too. Wow, it came right back with a slider. I think if you look at some of the poorer games that Alexi has had, one of the common threads is probably his inability to throw his off-speed pitches effectively in that game. But so far in this game, he's had a good slider, made Zobrist look bad, fooled him with that one. Pitch before it was a changeup and could have been a strike. And so far in this game, he's thrown a lot of fastballs, but the breaking balls, off-speed pitches he's thrown have been pretty good.
Casey Kochman takes ball one. Having a career year by a long shot, 5th in the league at .320. Career .259 hitter before this year. And a shot up the middle over Ogando, and Tampa Bay has its first base hit. Fox Sports Game Connect is the ultimate online experience for fans. You can log on to take part in the most interactive forum during Rangers games. Stats, trends, exclusive analysis, live Twitter feeds, and you can even share your thoughts with our game broadcast. Fox Sports Game Connect, now available on foxsportssouthwest.com. So with Kochman at first, one out, here's B.J. Upton. Another weak wave. Ogando's gotten a few of those already.
If he can do a good job of locating his slider, it's a very tough pitch for a hitter who's anticipating a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. It looked like Upton was looking for a fastball right there, the way he swung at that slower pitch. From another one. Decided to take that one. It was called a strike anyway.
B.J. Upton has had a good year on the road, a terrible year at Tropicana Field, where he's hitting just .176, second lowest home average in the major league. And that 95-mile-an-hour fastball got to look like right up in the rib cage.
Yeah, it's definitely not what you're trying to do right there. You got a guy prone to the strikeout, down, no balls and 2 strikes. Got a great chance to strike him out. And trying to throw in with a fastball and just got it way in.
Only down a couple of seconds. Arrives at first. Ogando now with 1 out has 2 men on for Matt Joyce. Joyce wrapping up what is now a 2-month slump. Last night 0 for 3, a strikeout, 2 ground outs. And a pretty sensational first 2 months, but from June 1st on, he is hitting .212. Much less impressive. His average with runners in scoring position since June 1st, only .171. And this after making his first All-Star team. Voted in by the players. A little uptick the last couple of weeks. Joyce through May was a .370 hitter. So the drop-off has been pretty enormous. Tom, we talked a little bit about it last night. When he was going well, he was using the whole field. When he started to get pull happy, looking for homers, that's when the dive began. Let's see what his approach is here against Ogando. He takes low, and Alexi now close to loading the bases.
The other side of it is, in 490 major league bats coming into the season, he's a .240 hitter. And in 1900 minor league bats, he was a .275 hitter. So I guess you could make a case that water is seeking its own level.
Another miss, and they are loaded with 1 out for John Jaso. And that will get a quick visit out of Mike Maddux.
Alexi just letting this inning get away from him. He struck out Zobrist with a really good pitch. Kochman gets a base hit up the middle. Then he got ahead of Upton, hit him with a pitch, and then really didn't come close against Joyce with a couple of those pitches and ended up walking him. I think he tends to rush things a little bit. And now he's just got to take a step back, take a deep breath, relax, and make his pitches.
Struck out 3 of the first 4 batters he faced. The only other out was the bat flying grounder back to Ogando by Damon. Single hit batsman walk, and now he gets Jaso. Jaso's had an interesting phenomenon going for him this year. Just a .224 average, but when he hits 8th as he is tonight, he's 60 points better than that. He's .284 in the 8-hole with all 4 of his home runs. Everywhere else in the lineup, he's hit .191. A good fastball strike after the conversation with Maddox. Several Rays have huge splits just like that one, road and home. Not that many are consistent regardless of the ballpark. Team based on great pitching, great defense. Offense has been a disappointment, and it's 0-2.
From a changeup. You know, Tampa Bay is a team that plays better on the road than they do at home. They have a winning record at home, but it's a better winning record on the road. They had Upton no balls and 2 strikes and let it get away from him. Got Jaso in the same spot with the bases loaded right now. He would make a good pitch.
Off the fist, and it will fall out in shallow center field. A base hit, and Kochman comes home, and it's Tampa Bay on top 1-0.
Yeah, it was a good pitch. Maybe it wasn't quite a good enough pitch. He had no balls and 2 strikes, and it wasn't a hard hit ball. He jammed him, but he got enough of it to drop the ball in there. Now it's a strike well inside the strike zone. You know, you're ahead 0-2. Maybe it's a little bit better if it's 6 or 7 more inches inside so that you can't bloop it into center field. If you miss, it's still only 1-2.
Instead, it's 1-0, and Sean Rodriguez steps up. Disappointing year again in this case. A .220 average, 6th lowest in the league for regulars, 300 or more plate appearances. So Jaso comes through again in the 8-hole, drives in his 24th run of the year. 1-1 now to Rodriguez. Tampa Bay starts today 8.5 games out in the wild card race after the Yankees win in Boston last night. 8.5 back, 28 games remaining, including tonight. Just able to check his swing. Yankees again at Fenway Park and trailing at the moment, top of the 4th inning. That one is 2-1 Red Sox. Boston a half game up on New York. This pop up into shallow left field, and Elvis handles the second out.
Well, there's a big out. Bases loaded and 1 out. Got him to pop it up. Oh, you get out of the inning after the bases loaded and 1 out with 1 run. You'll take it. Get back, calm down in the dugout. Go back out in the 3rd inning. Give your offense a chance. Just don't want to turn it into a big inning with Shields on the mound.
Well, we got Jennings swinging to begin the game. Chance here for a big hit. 19 runs batted in, about 1 every other game for the 24-year-old. Out of Birmingham. 3-sport star at Pinson Valley High School there. Mr. Football for Alabama, runner-up as a receiver. He was going to play receiver at the University of Alabama. Sidetracked by baseball, and now at age 24, getting underway what Tampa Bay hopes will be a career that will make folks forget Carl Crawford, already drawing some comparisons to the Rays' departed left fielder. And some borderline pitches not being called strikes here by John Hirschbeck, and it is 3-0 with the bases loaded. Already one walk in the inning, as well as a hit batsman.
Yeah, the hit batter is the one that hurt. That was no balls and 2 strikes to, a guy that he makes a good pitch to him. Upton's hitting 225, a little bit prone to the strikeout. You make a good pitch and he's out. Well, you definitely didn't want to hit him right there. That was just a careless pitch. Upton struck out 131 times.
That one misses. It is 2-0 Tampa Bay. Jennings drives in his 20th run with the bases loaded walk. So Upton comes home. Joyce, who walked, now all the way to third. Jaso at second. And here's Johnny Damon. There's a good first pitch strike. Him at age 37, having a very solid year. 3 for his last 18. Has to feel like he's due for a big hit. He has 2,703. .462 this year with the bases loaded. And a 2-homer game on Sunday. This pop-up, though, will end the inning, handled by Young. So Ogando battling some wildness. 2 runs on 2 hits, 2 walks to hit batsman, and he leaves him loaded. Register for the opportunity to purchase 4 tickets to one of 3 possible ALDS games here at Rangers Ballpark. Visit TexasRangers.com/opportunity and get ready for the postseason. This, of course, a rematch of last year's ALDS, in which no one could win a home game. James Shields, the starter and loser of game 2. Giving up 4 runs in 4 1/3 innings at Tropicana Field. Up 0-2 on David Murphy. Another outstanding game last night for David. 2 for 3 RBI single in the 6th to complete the score. Murphy making his 5th consecutive start, 7 for his last 15. Foul tip. Jaso hangs on, and there's the first strikeout for Shields. Let's check in with Neil Beasley in the Fox Sports Southwest studio. He's got a game break. And your Vittorio Alba. Vorbeat's main contribution last night, those 2 throws cutting down would-be Tampa Bay base stealers. Pop up here will reach the seats. Vorbeat now a pretty good roll. He has cut down 4 of the last 5 would-be base stealers. Offensively trying to get it going again. Overall, he's had an excellent month of August. Will comebacker here, handled by Shields. So there's 2 outs in the Rangers' second. We'll bring up Mitch Moreland. Mitch again at first base tonight. Ron Washington said before the game might see some time in right field as the Ranger roster is set to expand a bit. Adrian Beltre will be back in the lineup tomorrow night for the final game of this series. Beltre will not be exclusively at third base. He will DH quite a bit.
Well, that makes sense. The one thing you want to do is you want to keep him healthy. You want him to stay in the lineup the whole season, rest of the season. Michael's doing a fine job at third base, so Rangers have that luxury to let him DH, make sure he's ready to go. I'm sure they'll encourage him not to overdo it when there's no play. In other words, on a routine ground ball, don't try to sprint to first base. If you're going to be an easy double, slow down a little bit, trot into second base instead of sprinting to second base. It's hard for a guy like Beltre who plays so hard. It's hard to tell him to slow down.
All under the heading of managing the hamstring.
Yeah, exactly.
Which will not be really 100%, Wash says, until he's gone through the offseason. 3-0 pitch taken down the middle. Moreland again facing the overshift here with Longoria, the only infielder on the left side. Rays last night turned a 5-6-3 double play with the overshift against Josh Hamilton. And Moreland cut down on a pitch almost in the dirt.
Some kind of changeup. I think dropped about a foot.
So 2 strikeouts for James Shields in a 1-2-3 second inning. Geico Insurance, where 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. By AT&T, rethink possible. And by Whataburger, just like you like it. 2-0 Tampa Bay. With Longoria, Zobrist, and Kochman. They're 3, 4, and 5 hitters in the third inning. Longoria, a strikeout victim in the first. Ogando hoping he's over his bit of wildness. Both pitchers have kind of an odd phenomenon going on this year. Alexi Ogando against the American League East is 1-4 with a 675 earned run average. Against the rest of the league, he is undefeated, 10-0. A 236 earned run average. Shields has the same problem against the West.
That was a good idea. He's letting his keeping his fastball up, and so Mike Napoli called the slider, tried to get him back on track, and Alexi slowed things down and threw it right in there for a strike.
Base hit into right center field. So Longoria has his first hit of the series. Third hit by the Rays. They had a good start to their third inning. As Ben Zobrist, who also struck out his first time up, steps up. Zobrist now to 3 for 22. And a line drive sinks into right field. Not hit that hard. Placed very well. As the first two Rays reach here in the third.
Ron Washington is not going to waste any time. He's getting the bullpen going. Yoshinori is out there getting loose quickly. After a great first inning and first batter of the second inning, things have really fallen apart for Ogando.
Well, they have untouchable until the single by Kochman on a 1-0 pitch with one out in the second. Goes after the first pitch here, tracked by Torrealba for the first out. Napoli for the out.
Ogando's 4 games prior to this game, his ERA was 8.10. He was coming off that game where he gave up 4 home runs to the Red Sox. So this month it's been a struggle for Alexi. He's 2-1 in August somehow with an ERA of around 7. Trying to get back on track, find that groove that he was in the first half of the season. His second half, if you want to make a comparison, it's kind of like Joyce. Joyce had an all-star first half just like Ogando, but both of them, one an offensive player, one a pitcher, both struggled in the second half.
Well hit, center field. Chavez reaches up to make the catch.
There's a break right there. There's a line drive that you can't hit much harder than Upton hit that ball. Maybe that makes up for the little blooper that Jaso hit for an RBI last inning. That easily could have snuck over Endy's head and cleared the bases, but he gets a nice jump on it, does a nice job of running that ball down in center field.
He had to be off at the crack of the bat, as they say, to run that one down, which he did. So 2 outs after the back-to-back singles by Longoria and Zobrist to begin the inning. And here is Joyce. He walked to load the bases in the second, and then Jaso singled in Kochman for the first Tampa Bay run. That one is ripped, but foul into the corner.
Oh, well, we got a second. I'm going to thank some people. I want to thank Misty and Isabella Skidmore for the cookies that they sent up. They're here for a mommy and daughter night out at the ballpark. Misty adds that 9-year-old Isabella loves Ian Kinsler. Well, hopefully Ian will have a big night while you're out here tonight. Also want to thank Robbie and Gary Farina from Grapevine. They sent up a delicious chocolate Kahlua cake from their winery and cafe. Thank you very much.
Another hard hit ball up the middle. And here comes Longoria. The throw to third. Not in time. Zobrist is in, and it's 3-0.
Yeah, a lot different swings the second time through the lineup, that's for sure. In fact, a lot different swings since the fourth hitter in the lineup hit. And Ron Washington's seen enough. I think Ogando has lost it in this game, and Ron just doesn't feel like he's going to get it back. Earlier in the season, you'd stick with him, but the way it's gone recently, I don't think Ron's going to do that.
Well, Alexi's shortest outing of the year was June 14th at Yankee Stadium. 6 runs in an inning and 2/3. 2 2/3 here. And he gives way to Yoshi Tateyama, trailing 3-0. 2 outs, runners on the corners. American Give. Fox Sports Southwest and the Rangers teaming up for the Great American Give for the rest of August, which is a matter of hours now. You will automatically be registered for a chance to win a Fox Sports Southwest VIP experience here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. Yoshinori Tateyama on in the 3rd inning to try and keep this a 3-run deficit. On for the 35th time. And he will face John Jaso, who singled in a run his first trip.
I think Ron feels like the team can come back. The offense is swinging the bats pretty well, but also feels like he has to shut the Rays down right now. With Shields on the mound, 3 is not insurmountable, but a big inning early in the game just makes it that much difficult. So get this hitter and try to get some offense going and see if the bullpen can't shut them down.
Yoshi trying to get back on track a little bit. 4 runs on 4 hits Friday and an inning in the 3rd against the Angels, both career highs. Multiple runs in his last 2 outings. That happened only twice in his first 32 career appearances. And for Alexi Ogando, this is the 2nd time in his last 5 starts. He lasts only 2 2/3 innings. Happened to him on August 9th against Seattle. left that game trailing 6-3. Rangers came back to win at 7-6. Watching a parade of hard hit balls, even the out by Upton, the last out recorded by Ogando. A rocket to deep center field.
One more family to thank. Derek and Becca McCord are here with their son Jake for his first Ranger game. They sent up some cookies and brownies. Thank you very much, Becca. And hope Jake enjoys the game tonight.
There's a well-placed strike two to Jaso, 1-2. And a weak little pop out to Andrews. So Tateyama does his job and limits the damage here in the third to a run on 3 hits. He leaves 2. Chavez leads off the Ranger third. September 11th, hosting Oakland at 2:05, and the first 35,000 fans will receive a patriotic Rangers cap. Reserve your seats at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Well, the Rangers in comeback mode here as Chavez leads off the third, down 3-0. He'll be followed by Kinsler and Andrews.
Now, the good thing is it's only 3 runs, and there's a lot of baseball left to be played. You have 7 more innings.
This has got to feel like an absolute windfall for Shields, who has had the 4th lowest run support in the league, getting only 3.4 runs per game scored for him. Major reason, despite his sparkling numbers, he's only 12-10. Little support, you could maybe be looking at least an outside chance at a 20-win season. 10 complete games, major league high, among 27 starts. Chavez rolls that one out to Zobrist.
Well, Rangers had Shields, I won't say on the ropes, but they had him in a spot where they were on the verge of having a nice inning. But he made a good pitch, got Napoli to hit into a double play with the bases loaded and only 1 out. And since that walk to Michael Young, been 5 up, 5 down.
And Kinsler hit it right on the nose. Lined out to Upton in center field. Leading off the game, Shields handles the one hopper for out number 2.
Shields last year was 13 and 15, and his ERA was 5.18. And over the last 4 years, he's averaged way over 200 innings pitched. Good number of strikeouts. He's actually walked more this year than ever before. He's averaged 45 walks the last 4 years. He's already got 52 walks this year. He'll have more strikeouts than he's averaged the last 4 years. He'll have well over 200 strikeouts, probably around 230 innings pitched. Pitched deeper into games, and he's done it by not throwing a lot of pitches. But his opponent's batting average is much better than it's ever been. 7th in the league, 222. He's averaged more hits than innings pitched over the last 4 years. Obviously, with a 222 opponent's average, significantly under innings pitched this year with his hits. So suffice it to say, in his 5th full season, he's never been better than this. And that last pitch was a pretty good example why, the changeup that he throws.
Bounces that one 2-2 to Elvis. Rangers in the first had some good swings against him. The Kinsler line out. Andrews and Hamilton, both sharp singles. Then the walk to Young loaded the bases, and the double play ball to Napoli seemed to really settle Shields down. And the Rangers have not had a base runner since. Technical adjustment for Shields, going more over the top this year, bringing about these spectacular results. Little pop up short right. Zobrist gives way to Joyce, and Shields has his second straight 1-2-3 inning.
Maddox and Ron Washington have a little chat with their star Japanese pitchers. You see, Tateyama and Uehara are just too darn nice. They never shake off what the catcher calls.
It's very, very tough. One thing that they have in their culture is if somebody's older, then you have to respect them and do what they say. But in this case, nobody's older than they are. These guys are ancient warriors, man. They're old samurai soldiers. They just have to adapt to the culture, because in Japan, they don't shake off the catcher, and when the pitcher has a bad game, the manager takes the catcher out. So that's kind of one of the things that we have to let them know, that over here it's the pitcher that gets taken out, not the catcher.
It is interesting because you think of these two guys, they like to be perfect at everything. Tateyama, by the way, is the team's best golfer, and I know that Tag can respect that.
Sean Rodriguez lifts that one high, and drifting into right center is Andy Chavez.
Yeah, I told him I need a lesson and that I'd like to go golfing with him. He kind of smiled, but didn't give me any acknowledgement that he wanted to do that. He definitely didn't want to say he was the best golfer. He said there were plenty of guys better than he was, but I'm not sure that's true.
Well, he's retired. The first two batters he's faced coming on for Ogando. Desmond Jennings batting already for the third time tonight. He has struck out, and last time up worked a bases loaded walk. At the second Tampa Bay run home in the second inning. It's fun to watch Tateyama's daily education in all things American. He was all excited in the clubhouse, ran to Darren Oliver's locker. Showed him that he had figured out how to download music videos on his phone from a website Darren had recommended. Just overjoyed. This has learned the language with lightning speed. As this ground ball handled by Kinsler for out number 2. Let's check in with Jim Knox.
All right, Dave, big happenings in center field. Big group from TCU. A lot of students on hand. Garrett, what's this all about?
Yeah, so we're here with an on-campus ministry, just taking some time away from school to get some dollar hot dogs and cool ball.
There we go. You could have gone a few places, but here to
Yes, sir. We could have gone to Billy Bob's, we could have went to Dallas, we could have went downtown, but we're here at the ballpark hoping for a Ranger win.
All right, there we go. We'll see what happens. Thanks, Garrett. Way to go, TCU in the house. Go, Dave.
All right, good to have the Horned Frogs in the house. 2 outs. Johnny Damon has grounded to the mound and popped to third. Still looking for his first ball out of the infield his first 2 games of this series. Borderline strike off the corner. 1-year contract signed on February 1st. The 37-year-old product of Dr. Phillips High School in Orlando, back in his home state. Two-time All-Star with the Red Sox. World Series rings with them in 04 and with the Yankees in 09. Rips that one just foul, 2-2. Thomas, it can be an interesting discussion about Johnny Damon's place in his era, because he has stacked up some undeniable career achievements. Over 2,700 hits. One of 5 players in history to play 140 games, 15 straight years. The rest of that list includes names like Aaron, Mays, Rose, and Brooks Robinson.
Well, there's no doubt he's been a fine player. I don't know that he's ever been the best player on his team, or a player that rises above many of the top players in his era. He's been a really good player, but he hasn't been one of the best players. He hasn't been a guy that's finished near the top in MVP votes. Hasn't won a batting championship. He's done a lot of really good things, but when you think of Johnny Damon, you think of a really good contributor on good teams. Guy that hits at the top of the lineup, makes things happen, scores a lot of runs. As he got a little bit older, hit for some surprising power. There's no doubt he's been a fine player.
Here's Longoria. Now, if he gets to 3,000 hits, you keep him out of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's, you know, that's pretty good benchmark. It's pretty tough. It's pretty tough to say a guy doesn't deserve it. You know, you can say, well, he had to play a long time to get it. Well, that's one of the reasons you get to the Hall of Fame, because you're able to play That's a virtue, being able to play long, stay healthy, play the games you're talking about, play 15, 20 years to acquire those numbers. So I'd have a hard time saying no if he gets to 3,000 hits. You know, there's been other guys, a lot of other guys that have gotten to this point. You know, I think of a guy like Bill Buckner. Bill Buckner had 27 or 2,800 hits. Was every bit as good a hitter as Johnny Damon. Didn't get consideration for the Hall of Fame. So it's kind of, it's an interesting argument. I'm glad I don't vote for the Hall of Fame, by the way. I wouldn't want any part of it, trying to determine who deserves it and who doesn't. But you play for 18 years, you play for 20 years, you end up with 2,875 hits, let's say. And the thing that kept you out of the Hall of Fame is you needed another 125 hits. Would that really have made the difference? And maybe that 3,000 is a magic number. Maybe 2,900 isn't good enough. Maybe you have to have 3,000. I don't know.
And you're definitely right. He's never been on a team where he was the guy you had to worry about, but he's won where he's gone. 7 postseason trips.
Yeah. I think that's definitely a factor. Something you have to consider.
Outside shot at an 8th this year. And that after spending first 5 years with Kansas City. And Oakland, 4 with the Red Sox, 4 with the Yankees. Tigers last year. And running and stealing without so much as a throw here from Napoli. After having to reach to bring that pitch in. And still steal a bag at age 37.
Well, we talked about him last night. What he's done is he's maintained top physical conditioning well into his career. There's a lifetime 287 hitter coming into the season.
Two running teams matched up here. Tampa Bay now one off the co-leaders, Kansas City and New York.
He scored 1,600 runs. He has 500 doubles, 100 triples, more than 200 home runs, more than 1,000 RBIs. He got some nice benchmarks.
Yeah, you really look at the whole of his career and you see a player really without a weakness and with a lot of strengths.
Scored 100 runs 10 times. Hit over 20 home runs a number of times. Most runs he ever drove in was 94 with the Red Sox. That was one of his best years.
Longoria, big rip at that 2-2 pitch from Yoshi.
I think when you nominate him for a conversation about the Hall of Fame, I think you get a lot of people to weigh in with opinions. And he's someone that you have to talk about and you have to consider.
My guess is if he doesn't get to 3,000 hits, he won't make it.
Yeah, I think I favor that too. And then you say to yourself, boy, a few more hits and he would have made it. That makes a difference over 20 years.
Yeah, that's how those discussions tend to go. And now a second straight full count from Tateyama. Meanwhile, Matt Harrison rested last night in the spot start by Scott Feldman, now basically in Feldman's role until Matt will next take the mound. Harrison slated to get a start in the Boston series on Sunday against John Lackey. May be needed here. 3-2 pitch to Longoria. What a stop by Young. A wicked one-hopper. And with Adrian Beltre absent, Michael Young's defensive third seems to have gotten better by the game. Oriented question. Who was the first player to wear his uniform pants full length? He is in the ballpark tonight.
Yeah, that was a fashion statement. And that was at a time where no one was doing that, and it stood out. Nowadays, most players do it that way. It probably stands out more if you wear your pants like Ian Kinsler and David Murphy do. Tucked up with a sock showing.
I think that's why they do it, because now that's kind of the throwback fashion statement. But you look around, everybody on the field tonight, at least for the Rays, and Hamilton at the plate is following the trend set by our trivia answer. Hamilton singled on the first pitch he saw from Shields. Almost spun his cap right over his head. And works the count here to 3-0, leading off the Ranger fourth. They could use some base runners. Haven't had one since Michael Young walked to load the bases in the first. Hamilton before that was just 1 for 12 with 5 strikeouts against Shields. And against the shift here, he grounds out to Longoria, the only infielder on the left side.
Already in the game, you've seen examples of Shields being able to throw his changeup when he's behind in the count. He struck out Moreland with a 3-2 changeup. That was a 3-1 pitch to Josh. It was probably slightly out of the strike zone and a fastball count. And Josh tapped it to shortstop. When you're looking for a fastball, it's a tough pitch to lay off of. And because of the way he locates it down low and makes it sink, very tough to hit, too.
Young goes after the first pitch. Out to left field. Back a few steps, Desmond Jennings.
And Michael must have hit that a little bit toward the end of the bat. Didn't get it on the sweet spot.
So that is 9 straight retired by James Shields. Trying to get the Rangers in order for the 3rd straight time. As Mike Napoli steps up. First inning, 1 out, bases loaded. And on the second pitch he saw, grounded into a 5-4-3 double play. Talked about Ogando's issues against the East, and they have continued. Another poor outing against an Eastern Division opponent. Shields against the West has an ERA of 8.30. Against everybody else, his ERA is 2. 0-2 against the West, 12-8 against everyone else. Three balls and no strikes to Napoli. Shields is the first American League pitcher to have 10 complete games in his first 27 starts since Kevin Brown did it. 1993 right here. Lifted to right field. Joyce has room. Edge of the warning track. And again, the Rangers retired in order. Through 4, it remains 3-0 Tampa Bay. Who was the first MLB player to wear his uniform pants full length? Well, that would be Tampa Bay's first base coach, George Hendrick, back with the Oakland A's, when everybody, including Tom Grieve and Steve Busby, were wearing the high stockings. Only the throwback look shown by Ian Kinsler dotted around baseball. You see it from time to time, but certainly George Hendrick, the Joe Namath, the Michael Jordan of baseball, setting a standard fashion-wise that continues to this day. And Matt Harrison now on in long relief. Third Ranger pitcher of the night. See his numbers as a starter. He was flagging a bit. That's why he was going to go 11 days between starts, and Scott Feldman took over his spot last night with such spectacular results. Steve Busby, what do you make of Alexi Ogando's issues?
Well, Dave, I think there's some fatigue going on. He's in uncharted territory now, innings pitched wise, and first year as a starter, he's trying to absorb a lot of things, and it takes its toll. I think he's run into an area of the season where he's not comfortable out of the mound right now. And I think what you're seeing from him, at least what I see, is a guy that is feeling like he has to force the issue. He has to throw harder to get more out than he feels he's getting. I don't think that's necessarily true, but if that's what he thinks, it is true for him. And when you do that, when you feel like you have to force it, mechanically you get out of whack real fast, and it takes a bigger toll on your body. You get tired faster, and the results aren't nearly as good location-wise.
Michael Young makes the stab, the throw across the diamond, and That is 2 in a row. Gems turned in by Young.
Yeah, 2 tough plays. Two tough hops, 2 long throws. 2 great plays by Michael. Trying to figure out how to play this ball. Chooses the backhand, and now the hard part. All the way across the diamond. Buzz, it looked like tonight with Ogando exactly what you're saying. After he cruised through the first 4 batters, as soon as he started to get into a little trouble, the base hit, the 0-2 pitch that hit the batter, it looked like he tried to do exactly what you're saying. It looked like he rushed things. He tried to throw it hard, or it looked like he was just pressing like a hitter would press.
Exactly. And I'm sure it's the same. The hitter gets the same reaction a pitcher does. You try harder, your muscles get tighter, you don't swing the bat as well.
Right.
And pitchers the same way. The harder you try to throw, the less stuff you have. Maybe not always velocity. It's generally not as good, but the less movement you have, and the less you are able to throw the ball where you want to when you're just relatively relaxed and in your comfort mode as far as your mechanics are concerned.
And it's also true, and I'm sure there's some people watching, and when we suggest that maybe he's getting a little tired at this stage of the season, they'll say, well, he's still throwing 96 miles an hour, but that's not the only factor, is it?
No, velocity is a pretty poor determinant as to how well you're throwing. To me, movement and location are the 2 most important things for any pitcher. I don't care if you're throwing 105 or 85. And if you have to force to get 96 out of you the way Alexei looks like he feels he does, there's no movement. And when your ball's straight, you're not going to get guys out. I mean, it's as simple as that, unless you're pinpoint, and he can't be right now.
So you can still throw 96 and be feeling fatigued then.
Yeah, I think so. I think for most guys, your legs are what get tired before your arm does. And that may be tougher to feel than your arm getting tired.
I hear you saying, I mean, is this oversimplifying it to say it's one of those issues where you just need to trust your stuff?
Well,
because his stuff was really good for the first 4 batters.
That's a hard question. That's a legitimate question, but I don't look at it that way. It's not a matter of trusting your stuff. It's a matter of trusting the work you have done. And to me, to get ready for that start, to me, the heat doesn't affect you in the start itself. It affects you in the work you try to do between your last start and your next start to get ready for it. I think guys this time of year that have been in the hot streak here in Arlington, the way that we've suffered through it, just can't do as much work, as much quality work from one start to the next. And eventually that's going to catch up with you. What have we been in this thing for now for a month and a half straight?
B.J. Upton lifts the first pitch. Lazily out to Chavez. Matt Harrison comes in and works a clean 5th inning. Halfway done. Game 2 of 3. It's 3-0 Tampa Bay. Will be a test of his consistent quotes. He just says the same thing after every day. Rangers Ballpark Suites offer classic Texas hospitality for entertaining clients, celebrating a special occasion, or relaxing with friends or young family members. For your group of 10 to 200, watch a Rangers game in style. Visit TexasRangers.com/suites or call 972-RANGERS.
The Ranger Nursery.
David Murphy struck out leading off the second inning, and James Shields is rolling. Ground ball to Zobrist. That's 11 straight. Some game connect buzz, maybe for Buzz from Susie's. Is there any indication during the starting pitcher's warm-up that a pitcher doesn't have his stuff that day?
Well, Susie, quite honestly, I learned through my experiences not to trust whatever stuff I thought I had in the bullpen. That was a big mistake on my part, and I think guys have talked themselves either into or out of pitching pretty well despite what they had in the bullpen. I think if you just don't pay attention to it, there's no hitter there. You're trying to get loose. For the last 8 or 10 pitches that I threw, pretended I had a hitter up there and tried to work to him. And that's about the only time I really tried to get my mental and physical part of it together. The first little bit of it was just getting my body loose, really. And if I'd gone on what I had on some days out there, I never would have gone the mound. And there were some days I wish I hadn't. But
I remember the story about Nolan Ryan warming up and Tom House coming into the bullpen and telling Bobby Valentine, you better get the bullpen ready early because Big Tex doesn't have it today. That was one of the days he threw his no-hitter.
Right.
Buzz, am I remembering right that one of your no-hitters was kind of the same thing? You weren't necessarily that optimistic after your pregame warm-up? That is dug out at first base by Kochman. Top fielding first baseman. Career fielding percentage in baseball history, showing you why right there.
He doesn't have as many chances as a lot of the guys he's competing for with for that. But you get a pretty good indication that he can pick it at first base when you see this play. Wow, that's some kind of pickup right there. That's one of those hops that's not the short hop that you can just reach for and scoop. You got to watch that and play it. I'd have been chasing that one back to the fence. I know that. I wouldn't even have touched that ball.
There's one for Mitch Moreland trying to emulate. Mitch also a strikeout victim his first trip. Was I remembering wrong about the
I don't recall. I may have said that at some point in time, but my second no-hitter, I had learned my lesson about trying to gauge how well I was going to do by how I warmed up. My first one, there's no telling.
Kochman unassisted. Shields' roll continues. Short and sweet tonight, Buzz.
Appreciate it. Yeah. All right. Now I got to get some points. Got to get points in this thing.
Young to a tee.
Yeah, when you see the way Michael has played his defense over the last month, you see a guy that is really at the top of his game defensively. Those two plays today were Adrian Beltre type plays where you've got a really tough hop that you've got to field, and you feel good when you catch it, but now you've got just as hard a part, and that's getting it over to first base across the diamond after making the play, knowing it's going to be a close play. And I think Michael is getting better and better every day out there at third base. And remember, it hasn't been that long since he went to first base for the first time. And even though he's played shortstop, even though he's played second base, I think Michael would say third base is the toughest of those positions for me because he's closer. It's more of a reaction. You don't have as much time to think. And so it stands to reason the more he gets to play there, the better and better he will get. I know that was one of the things that he thought in the offseason this year when there was talk about him being the designated hitter. Hey, I haven't had a chance to play there that much. I know I've got a ways to go to get where I want to be, where everyone else wants me to be, and a lot of room for improvement. And, you know, now getting a chance to play there on an extended period, you're seeing that improvement. He's playing third base better than he ever has.
Long run for Andrus and Hamilton and out of play.
But when you're a good athlete, you have good hands, a strong, accurate arm. It's just a matter of getting comfortable over there, getting a lot of repetitions, and you take all the ground balls you want. It helps, but it doesn't simulate a hard smash that's hit right at you one hop during a game. The more he's over there, the better and better he'll get.
He took some slings and arrows last year, but boy, those are non-existent this year. Rock solid in the absence of Beltre, who returns tomorrow. 2-2 to Joyce. Harrison on for his second inning as the third Ranger pitcher of the night. Alexio Gondo lasted just 2 2/3 on all 3 runs, 5 hits, 2 walks. And a little roller for Kinsler.
Well, just like last night, the bullpen's coming in and setting them down. Just a matter of whether the Ranger offense can get to a tough right-hander in James Shields.
Tonight's game brought to you by Miller High Life. This summer, find out how giving back bottle caps can give returning vets a piece of the high life. Go to MillerHighLife.com for details. 4 up and 4 down against Matt. 3 ground balls. John Jaso singled in their first run, and that's
a fair ball.
Fair ball and a quick out.
Never went into foul territory. It might have started out in foul territory. That doesn't matter. It can hit a foot behind the plate. It's where it ends up. I just assumed it was a foul ball when I saw Jaso standing there. Let's take a look. Well, it hits and just takes about a foot, moves a foot toward the pitcher. And I guess Jaso's maybe hoping the umpire didn't see it and called it foul. He's going to be out anyway. Wouldn't have done him much good to sprint to first base. He would have been out before he got a third of the way there.
That is your extremely rare 2 unassisted. Rodriguez 0 for 2. I think that might be the least contact you can humanly make and still call it contact. I've never seen a ball hit fair go a shorter distance. I mean, Napoli barely had to get out of his crouch.
I couldn't tell exactly where it was in relation to home plate. It couldn't have been a matter of inches. I also don't remember where Jaso was standing. If he was back in the box, had to be less than a foot out in front of the plate. If he was even with the plate, might have been a little more than that. It definitely didn't roll very far.
Well hit left field. Hamilton to complete Harrison's second straight 1-2-3 inning. to you by Sonic. Tonight's jackpot back to $100. Dinner for two at a Sonic Drive-In. Tonight, the Rangers are hitting for Rod Stroll from Dallas. If the Ranger hits a grand slam during this inning, Rod Stroll from Dallas wins $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. And it's Chavez, Kinsler, and Andrews trying to get something going against James Shields, who has not allowed a base runner since the first, when he loaded the bases with one out. Got a double play ball off the bat of Napoli. That started a run of 13 consecutive Rangers he has retired, including Chavez on a grounder to second back in the third. Right back to him. Shields has made a couple of decent plays, backing himself up for the top rated defense in the American League. That's the third comebacker he's handled. Torrealba and Kinsler before him. Kinsler last time, in fact. First time up, he hit it right on the nose, lined out to Upton in center field. First three Rangers had hot shots. Andrews and Hamilton followed with still the only two base hits Shields has allowed. Only averaging a shade over 12 pitches per inning as Koji Wahara appears to be next in out of the Ranger bullpen.
And that was after a fairly long first inning, at least for him.
.14 pitches per game is his average, lowest figure in either league. I know there are a number of things that really jump out at you about Shields as this pop up comes down in foul territory for Kochman. One is that in his 12 wins, he is almost untouchable. His ERA in those 12 victories, 0.71, 8 earned runs in 101 innings. 4 of those games, of course, shutouts, ties him with Derek Holland atop the American League. Since 1999, he's just the third pitcher to get to double digits in complete games. Randy Johnson did it that year, 99, and didn't happen again until CC Sabathia in 2008. Shields nearly 2/3 of the way toward what would be his 11th. He has had a terrific month of August. He can tie the club record if he gets a win tonight. It'll be his 4th win this month. Jeff Neiman, who starts tomorrow night, also had 4 August wins this year. And this Tampa Bay staff is by far the best in the league in the month of August. Staff ERA of just 3.14. And the 3rd best month in the history of their ball club in terms of staff ERA. Elvis checks his swing, works the count full. That one will find a gap out there in right center field and roll to the wall. Elvis thinking 3. On his way to third, and he'll make it without a throw.
Well, there's a start. A little 2-out rally. Just want to get on the board, get something going, cut that deficit. Bullpen's doing a great job. Shields is doing a great job. Elvis got the fastball he was looking for on the 3-2 pitch. Now you got Josh, Michael, Napoli coming up. Good time to string together some hits. That's what the Rangers did yesterday. They had 4 straight hits, 7 hits in the game, and 4 of them, including a double and a home run, all came consecutively.
Elvis Andrus safe at third. Safe and secure, New York life. Josh Hamilton singled his first time up, grounded to third in the 4th. Elvis ending a string of 15 straight retired by Shields. Josh's average back over 300 with his recent surge, which includes home runs in 4 of his last 10 games. And we check our Ford leaderboard. Longest shots this year by Josh. Walk-off against Andrew Bailey, July 9th. Still the longest, 449 against Cleveland, the Angels, Tampa Bay, Minnesota, and last night. 4 rows above that vomitory, way up there in the upper porch. But he waves at that one in the dirt and leaves Andrus at third, and through 6. A 3-hit shutout by Shields and a 3-0 lead by Tampa Bay. Brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. Last night, a 5-man, 3-hit shutout by the Rangers. And tonight, Koji Wahara, the 4th Ranger pitcher, on to work the 7th inning after 2 spotless innings turned in by Matt Harrison.
Well, in last night's game in the 7th inning, Mark Lowe and Darren Oliver pitched the 7th inning. Normally that would have been Wahara's inning, but he's been struggling a little bit lately. And I think Ron Washington felt more comfortable with the other guys, and he's going to use tonight as an opportunity for Wahara to get some work in, to try to get his location back, make the pitches, and just get back on track for when he needs them late in the ball game for the next time.
Koji's been pretty direct in assessing his own issues of late. Says he's not convinced himself with his performance as of yet with the Rangers. Seventh inning Saturday against the Angels. 2 runs, 3 extra base hits. Still extremely tough on left-handed batters. They're hitting just 125 against him. And he fans Desmond Jennings. Check it again with Neil Beasley in the Fox Sports Southwest studios. Another game break. And Johnny Damon 0 for 2 with a walk and a stolen base. 0 for 6 so far in the series. Well hit this one though, right field and gone. Number 14 for Johnny Damon. Another long ball against Koji Wahara. And the Rays lead it 4-0.
He threw him a fastball. It was on the inside part of the plate. And Damon still has a quick bat. Actually, it was on the inside half of the plate, but very close to the center of the plate. Definitely not where he was trying to throw that pitch.
.360 feet on Damon's 14th of the year, the 10th allowed this year by Wahara. As a Ranger, the 4th in now 12 outings, covering 10 innings. And Longoria rips one to Andrews for out number 2. Koji in that outing Saturday against the Angels gave up a leadoff home run in the 7th inning on the second pitch he threw to Howie Kendrick. Then a double by Torrey Hunter, and 2 batters later a triple by Vernon Wells. After striking out Jennings, 2 very hard hit balls. Then Zobrist pop up will reach the seats. Zobrist a single in 3 trips tonight. Wahara has talked about difficulty making several adjustments coming over from Baltimore, where he kind of settled in his home area, adopted a home area. Adjusting to the heat, to living in a hotel, but that's all stuff that comes with being an American Major League Baseball player. Well hit again to right field. Murphy at the wall makes the catch.
That's 3 hard hit balls in a row.
Wahara perhaps fortunate only to give up the run on the Damon long ball. Young to lead off the Rangers 7th. Proud sponsor of youth baseball leagues in your community. If you'd like to learn more about Chevy youth baseball programs, go to youthsportswired.com. The young Ranger superhero there brought his cape. Little old body painting. We'd like to see some offense at this point. Rangers down 4-0. Young, Napoli, and Murphy against James Shields. Only at 79 pitches. Young walked in the first. Last time flied to left. Since that walk in the first, which loaded the bases, the only Ranger base runner, Andrews, on his 2-out triple in the 6th.
You can see how effective a couple of pitchers have been with outstanding changeups and obviously good command of their other pitches. Last night for Hellickson, it was mostly fastballs and changeups. He threw a few breaking balls, but not many. Shields has mixed in some sliders to go along with his fastball and changeup, but there's no doubt that the changeup is the key pitch for both of these guys. There's another one right there. It comes in, looks like a splitter the way it drops. Hellickson can run his fastball up there to 90, 94-ish. Shields has been maybe 91-ish at the high, but a lot of them 89 or 90. So he's not doing it with velocity. He's doing it with pitching know-how and that excellent changeup. Now, they talk about kids learning how to pitch when they're little, and a typical question from a dad is, when should I teach my son or have my son taught how to throw a curveball? And I think the best thing, just personally, you can do with a young kid is teach him how to change speeds. Throw his fastball for strikes. Make sure he's got a good delivery, good command of his fastball, and then learn how to throw some kind of a changeup. That works, especially for young kids. That works just as well as a curveball if you can change speeds. It's the change of speeds that'll throw off younger hitters. And if you can throw a changeup, maybe that's just a pitch that you learn how to throw as you get older. And if you do have the arm strength and the ability and you become a good pitcher, it can be a great pitch for you. You can see how all the Ranger hitters have struggled in this series against two guys with great changeups. It's a terrific pitch.
Shields' changeup is self-taught. Says he developed it just by messing around one day. Picked up a ball, started moving it around a little bit. Settled on the grip, the motion. He's got one of the best in either league. And he strikes out another Ranger. That's 3 straight. He's got Hamilton, Young, and Napoli all swinging.
And the key as far as the motion goes is the motion has to be the exact same delivery as your fastball. Otherwise, a hitter can pick it up and know that there's a different pitch coming.
Less than 2 weeks until the NFL season starts. You can create your fantasy football team today at foxsports.com/fantasy. Play against friends or compete against other Fox Sports users. It's free and easy to play. David Murphy in a 7 for 15 before tonight. He is struck out, grounded to second. Shields almost as ground ball oriented tonight as Scott Feldman was last night. His outfield has not been needed very much at all. Joyce has made a couple of catches in right. Jennings one in left. Upton got the first put out of the game. Line out by Kinsler. That's been it for him.
Oh, this at bat, David's seen a changeup. Saw good curveballs for a strike. That looked like a cutter that he tried to hit the back door with and just missed. Pretty good assortment of pitches. 3 straight strikeouts, all of them on changeups. 4 straight strikeouts if you go back to Hamilton, and his was a changeup as well.
6 for the game. Shields rolls through 7.
Zipper as we head to the 8th inning. And Dave and Tom, time for the fan of the game, Ranger fan of the game. It's got to be Braden from Murphy. Been cheering all game long for the Rangers despite missing his 3 front teeth. Here's the hat, Braden. Way to go, buddy. Look at that camera. Give him a big smile there, buddy. What do you got to say? Go Rangers! Give us another smile, Braden. Look at that.
What a smile.
That's a toothpaste commercial right there. Way to go, Braden.
That's a Norman Rockwell painting right there.
That was great.
Mark Lowe on to work the 8th as the Rangers for the 2nd straight night use 5 pitchers.
Oh, good chance they'll use another one too.
Casey Kochman got it started in what became a very short outing by Alexio Gondo. Kinsler racing in to make the ankle high grab.
Yeah, Mark threw the ball great last night. Got the first 2 outs, 2 right-hand hitters. And Darren came in, got the last out. Those numbers don't really reflect how well he's pitched the last, whatever, month and a half, 2 months. Got off to a slow start, spent some time in the minor leagues, and since he's come back, he's gotten better and better.
Last night needed only 5 pitches to get Longoria to ground out and Zobrist to fly out.
At the time of the Cliff Lee trade, when Cliff Lee came over, Mark was hurt and was kind of viewed as an afterthought in that trade, but not by the Rangers. They recognized that Cliff Lee might become a free agent, that they might not be able to re-sign him, and they wanted something to show for giving up all those talented young players. And now they've got something to show for it. Cliff Lee has left, but Mark Lowe has worked himself into a very valuable late inning reliever. And he's getting better and better at that job. So, you know, you look down the road, certainly for next season, and he qualifies right now as a legitimate candidate for 7th, 8th, 9th inning duties.
Mark in his last 18 outings, a .240 earned run average, 4 earned runs, 15 innings. Big rip and a miss. Upton is out number 2.
Straight heat right there. Threw it by Upton. Right down the middle of the plate. Looked like Upton, as they say, took his eye off the ball. He was looking more down the left field line than out toward the ball.
Mark Hamburger just up yesterday from AAA Round Rock. Thrilled to be here. 24-year-old. Looks like he will get the 9th inning.
Not sure exactly how Ron and Mike Maddox determined the order that the guys were going to pitch in. One thing that might be a factor with Hamburger, they might have wanted to get him into the game, but they saved him to pitch last in case the Rangers came back and tied the game, and they had to use the relief pitchers into extra innings. Hamburger would be very well suited to do that because he's been in the rotation for his last several starts in AAA. Might be why they waited to use him last.
2 balls and a strike to Joyce, who has walked, singled, and a run back in the 3rd, spelling the end of Alexio Gondo's night. Gone after 2 2/3 innings, 54 pitches, 3 runs, 5 hits, couple of walks, 3 strikeouts, all among the first 4 batters Alexi faced. Tateyama on for an inning and a 3rd. Harrison for 2, retired all 6 he faced. Wahara gave up the home run by Damon in the 7th. Lowe trying to finish off a 1-2-3 8th. And this should do the trick. Pop up out into shallow left field, traced by Andrews. and called off by Hamilton. In the Ranger eighth, bottom third of the order due up. For nothing. Torrealba, Moreland, and Chavez due up here in the eighth. Tune in September 13th for a big announcement from Fox Sports Southwest regarding the Shannon Stone Fund benefiting the Brunwood firefighter who perished here in the tragic accident. There will be a telethon September 13th. Details tomorrow about that broadcast. Torrealba has bounced to the mound, grounded to third on the play in which Longoria's throw was dug out in such terrific fashion by Casey Kochman at first base. Shields having struck out the last four Rangers, and the heart of the order, Hamilton, Young, Napoli, and Murphy, all swinging. Only other two strikeouts were back in the second inning. Torrealba, and just to hold off that pitch, almost in the dirt. So Shields nearing 100. His last outing Friday, his most recent complete game, he threw 125 pitches at Toronto, and that's not even his season high. Season high 126. Longoria stabs the shot by Yorvi.
Well, there haven't been a lot of bids for base hits in this game by the Rangers, but that was a well hit ball by Yorvi that looked like it was headed into left field for a base hit. But Longoria had a different idea. Stretches. He's a good third baseman. Good reactions.
And looking over into his dugout. See what the shift plans are here for Moreland. And he's staying at third, but the overshift is still out there on the right side. So he's not at the shortstop spot, as has been the case when Madden has employed this.
Well, the only reason I could think of for not playing back there, if that's where they like to play him, is because in this kind of a game where you're down 4-0, there'd be more of an inclination for Moreland to bunt. Now he's going back with a little bit different count. More of an inclination for him to bunt to try to get a base runner. Definitely abandoned that, though.
Madden loves the shifts, loves to study the charts, line his defense accordingly. This rips that one foul, and it's 2-2. Moreland tonight a strikeout and a grounder to first. 0 for his last 12, 4 for his last 32. Trying to get another streak going here, with the Rangers down to their final 5 outs. James Shields sniffing his 5th shutout. And he gets this pop up almost straight up. Now drifting up the third base line a little bit. And off of Jaso. Did Longoria make the catch?
I think he did. Maybe not.
John Hirschbeck says he didn't. And Moreland is at second base. We'll see another angle here, and I think it'll be borne out. Now we'll see if it was actually a fair ball.
It doesn't look
it wasn't.
Like it. Moreland's coming back. Longoria's got a great idea right here, though. He's backing it up. He sees it go up. Nope, it bounced. Oh, I didn't see that he missed the ball. That was a great try by Longoria, though. He had an idea that might happen, it looked like. Jaso was hoping that he'd bail him out.
So, Moreland gets an extra opportunity here. But looks at strike 3. That is 5 strikeouts among the last 6 batters faced by Shields. Right after the E2. Now Andy Chavez, who is grounded to second and back to the mound. Shields now at 103 pitches. 64 strikes against 39 balls. First time on this mound since he lost game 2 of the LDS last year, lasting 4 1/3 and allowing 4 runs. So that was in Tampa Bay, first time against the Rangers since then. Overall against Texas, 3-2 with an ERA of just over 4 before this gem tonight. And a ground ball through Shields, up the middle, base hit for Chavez. Only the 4th by the Rangers tonight. So a much needed base runner for Ian Kinsler's 4th at bat, as they have the right-hander Peralta up and throwing. Shields figured out some things after that first inning, which began with a line shot to center by Kinsler. Stayed up for Upton to make the grab. And 2 hard hit singles by Andrews and Hamilton. The walk to Young. 2 base runners since, including Chavez here. Yankees Red Sox game in the bottom of the 8th at Fenway, and it's 9-5 Boston. Red Sox trying to add to a half-game lead on New York in the East. New York in turn 8.5 ahead of the Rays in the wild card race. So, Joe Madden getting a little help in that regard. But after tonight, just 25 remaining for the Rangers, 27 remaining for Tampa Bay. But they have 13 of those against the Yankees in Boston, so they will have a lot of head-to-head opportunities to make up a lot of that ground if they can pull it off and return to the postseason. Shot into the seats by Ian, and it's 2-2.
It felt like the first inning was a pretty long inning. The double play kept it from being a high pitch count for Shields, but he only threw 18 pitches in that inning. Double play really bailed him out.
Little nubber, fair ball. Jaso makes the play. So Shields shut out through 8 intact. A 4-hitter, a 4-0 lead. Into the 9th we go.
And ladies and gentlemen, your hamburger is ready. Mark Hamburger, ready to make his debut, just got called up yesterday. This guy should be a helper in the pen. He's a rare hamburger in that there's never been a hamburger in the major leagues. He's ecstatic about this opportunity. He's the first one to the ballpark every day.
Well, you know, I walked in and it was completely empty, so I think that was kind of a good thing because it let me kind of go, oh, and let everything out. But to see those guys, yeah, I mean, those are who I look up to as, you know, as the people that I really see as my role model. So it's to be able to play with them, it's the greatest thing I could ever imagine.
It's going to be interesting to see him in his first pickle and see how Hamburger gets out of that, but he does have the mustard and cheese to do that, guys. He told me he's really looking forward to all the heckling on the road, by the way.
Well, he'll probably be pretty happy because he'll see a lot of it. Hey, he's got a good fastball, both fastballs in the mid-90s.
These numbers with both Frisco and Round Rock this year. 2 and 4-seam fastball, slider, curve, a splitter, which he feels is coming on. Working on that to add that to his arsenal. First major league hitter here, John Jaso. He's got down 0-2, and he gets him on a weak ground ball to Mitch Moreland.
Oh, that looked like a splitter right there. Now his agent is Billy Martin, and Billy is the Billy Martin's son. And so I've remained friendly with his son Billy, and Billy called me when Mark got called up just to tell me some things about him, and he said he had to get some clothes for the trip, and so he took him out to one of the malls in Arlington, out at the Parks Mall, to a clothing store to buy some clothes. They went in and they found some clothes for the trip, and when they came out, Billy's truck had been broken into and all his other clothes had been stolen. So it was a bad first day in that regard for Mark. Probably had to go in and buy some other things.
Well, here's an impressive fastball to Sean Rodriguez. First 6 pitches, 5 strikes from Mark Hamburger in his major league debut. Like the slider there, 2 balls and a strike. Tom, can you remember anyone ever coming out of Mesabi Range Community College in Eveleth, Minnesota?
No, I don't know of anyone else that came out of there. But I love the way Mark's throwing the ball in his first major league appearance. Used all his pitches. Mid-90s fastball, got an out with his splitter to a hard slider. I'm sure his heart is pumping about as hard as a heart can pump right now, but he's remaining calm. He's throwing the ball great.
Ranger bullpen has been great, with the exception of the Damon homer off Wahara. That is all they have allowed. All 5 Ranger relievers. Strike 1 with a fastball to Desmond Jennings. 2 strikeouts and a bases loaded walk in their 2-run second. Mark Hamburger signed as a free agent, undrafted out of Mesabi Range by the Twins in 07.
Well, they signed him out of a tryout camp. You don't see many guys pitching in the big leagues out of tryout camps, throwing in the mid-90s.
Well, really behind him here. We would love to see him strike out Jennings, give Jennings a hat trick, and complete a 1-2-3 9th inning major league debut. Rangers got him August 3 years ago from the Twins in the Eddie Guardado trade. And he has slowly worked his way up. 31 outings at the AAA Round Rock. Highest level with 4 tonight. As you might expect, avid the Twins fan growing up. Favorite player Kirby Puckett. Just misses.
Fastball is consistently in the mid-90s, and the other pitches look solid as well. Pretty good return for Eddie Guardado when the Rangers traded him. Nice inning.
One hopper for Andrews. Very impressive major league debut by Mark Hamburger. Last chance for the Rangers, Andrews, Hamilton, and Young.
Hardest thing for Mark now is not to smile walking into the dugout.
Baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. New Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. and by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. Dave Barnett and Tom Grieve, 28,034 at the ballpark, as they hope for a Ranger rally here in the bottom of the ninth inning. It will have to come against Tampa Bay closer Kyle Farnsworth. So James Shields will not get his 11th complete game, nor his league-leading 5th shutout. He remains tied with 4 with Derek Holland.
Yeah, I don't think Joe Madden had any qualms about having him go back out there if he needed to. But in this kind of a game, he'd done his job. He was over 100 pitches. Been a long season. He's got at least 4 more starts to go. He wants to keep him strong coming down the stretch. So smart thing to do is get him out of there and call it a day. And an outstanding one it was.
Gave up only 4 base hits. Elvis had 2 of them. A single in the first and a 2-out triple in the 6th. This one lifted high to left field. Not that deep. Desmond Jennings has out number 1. Shields in his 8 innings, those 4 hits, he struck out 7, including 5 in a 6-batter stretch in the 6th through the 8th. Walked only 1. That was Young back in the first to load the bases. Give the Rangers their only real chance against him. But he got Napoli to ground into a double play and retired the next 15 in a row before the Andrews tripled in the 6th. And now the veteran fireballing Kyle Farnsworth working to Hamilton. First inning single, then a grounder to third and a strikeout.
It's been one of Farnsworth's better seasons. Worked as a closer. He has 22 saves. Opponent's batting average below 200. Been a good year for him. It's always been a hot commodity at the trade deadline. He's seen a lot of different teams. He's reached 100 miles an hour on the radar gun a while back. He's always had a great arm. Been a great potential closer. And he's starting to do it this year. Probably pitching a little bit more than just throwing.
22 saves, career high 10th in the league. Unscored on in August. This is 10th appearance of the month. 2 wins, 2 saves. Only 2 hits.
There's probably not a more imposing pitcher as far as not wanting to charge the mound. You charge the mound with this guy, you're in for a rude awakening.
Hamilton flips that one out to center field for Upton, and the Rangers down to their last out. That's quite a statement. I mean, there's some imposing pitchers, but I see where you're coming from here with Mr. Farnsworth.
I just remember when Paul Wilson made that mistake and he picked him up like he was a pillow and slammed him on the ground. This guy has a background where he probably almost welcomed the opportunity to have you visit him at the mound.
Might be real barbed wire around his biceps there.
Yeah. He doesn't need the barbed wire.
Well, last chance for the Rangers is Young. We have that walk in the first. Since then, a fly to left and a strikeout. Farnsworth will not be able to make the play, and the Rangers remain alive. As he will now face Mike Napoli with Michael aboard.
That's a carbon copy of Michael's 2000 hit right there.
Napoli have a double play grounder in the first with the bases loaded. Fly to right in the fourth. Strikeout swinging in the 7th when Shields got Young, Napoli, Murphy all swinging. Kyle's fighting background, Tom, goes back a ways. A black belt in Taekwondo as a teenager, but no longer practices, according to the Rays media guy.
I think the only time he would practice is if you went out and charged the mound.
I think it would all come back to him very quickly then.
He'd be making a bad mistake. Yeah, he's not the biggest pitcher, but you can just tell by his physique that he is a strong guy. Add the Taekwondo black belt to it. Whatever he is, 6'6", 240 pounds. Do so at your own risk.
Breaking ball there. The Rangers are down to their final strike. Angels in Seattle, scoreless bottom of the second. That matchup, Dan Herron against Felix Hernandez.
I'll go home and watch that one.
Rangers up 3.5 on the Angels.
There's 97 miles an hour.
Only Mariano Rivera and Arthur Rhodes have made more appearances among active pitchers. This is number 742 for Farnsworth. Ended the year with a total of 27 career saves. 22 this year. Non-save opportunity here. And Napoli manages to stay alive. So tomorrow night, final game of this series. Should be a good pitching matchup between C.J. Wilson going for his 14th win and Jeff Neiman, who has been on fire. Particularly on the road. The former Rice Owl, 7 o'clock tomorrow night on Fox Sports Southwest in the rubber game of this series. Barga Ranger comeback here. And Napoli keeps the ninth inning going, reaching out and poking that one into right field.
Yeah, one more base runner and anything can happen. The Rays had a rally last night. It was only a 2-0 game last night. They got the first 2 men on in the ninth inning against Neftali. But he pitched out of it with the help of a double play ball. Farnsworth has a little more cushion. It's 4-0. One more base runner, and then at least you bring the tying run to the plate.
David Murphy tonight 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a grounder to second. And in his previous 4 starts, 7 for 15, including a couple of home runs, 7 RBIs. Murphy keeps it going. Yorvi Torrealba would be next. Two of the Rangers' 6 hits here with 2 outs in the ninth inning. 2 balls and a strike. Tampa Bay has been a great front-running team this year. They're 49-18 when they score first. They've only lost 20 games in which they had a lead at any point in that game. Out of play, 2-2. Last night shut out by the Rangers for the 13th time this year. Trying to return the favor. Murphy manages again to stay alive. In his mind now, he's seen several pitches. Still has to think fastball first against a guy like Farnsworth.
Yeah, anytime a guy's throwing well, almost any time, no matter how hard he's throwing, when you get 2 strikes, you have to look for a fastball. Now, you're aware of the other pitches, but you have to be aware, looking for the fastball and then adjust to the other pitches.
That one is ripped but foul.
If you look for an off-speed pitch and then a fastball comes, there's no way you can react to it. And you can tell that when a catcher gets crossed up on the signs, he's called a breaking ball, anticipates a slower pitch, and then the fastball comes, and many times it just goes right by him. He doesn't even catch it. And if a catcher has a hard time catching it under those circumstances, a hitter would never be able to hit it. So you have to look for the fastball first now.
3-2, and close to loading the bases and bringing the tying run to the plate. He was a strike away against Napoli. He's been a strike away against Murphy for several pitches. David, before the game, talking about how he's come around at the plate by remembering specific at-bats that have gone well for him in the past. One example he pointed out was last year. He had a great at-bat against Felix Hernandez. And watching that video, trying to remember how that felt. More so than a mechanical adjustment. Up the middle, through for a base hit. Young comes home. It's 4-1. There's an at-bat maybe David can look back on in the very near future. One of the Rangers' best tonight for sure.
Well, now what it does, it brings the tying run to the plate. Makes anything possible. And there's a hanger right down the middle of the plate. Farnsworth tried to block it with his foot. But David hit it too hard right by him. Another good at bat for David.
Eighth RBI for David Murphy in his last 5 games, all starts. 31st of the year, ends the shutout. Brings Torrealba to the plate. Has the tying run with Napoli at third, now Murphy at first. Last time up, he hit it hard. Longoria speared it for the first out of the 8th. He's grounded to third and to the mound. Once again, for the 3rd straight hitter, the Rangers are down to their final strike. Only previous time Torrealba faced Farnsworth, he was hit by a pitch. Four pitches now by Farnsworth, and pretty close to half have been as he has searched for the game's final strike. And that search continues.
Well, most of the fans have stayed.
Only 8,000. Glad they have. 2-2 pitch, and that finally finishes off a 4-1 Tampa Bay victory. But the Rangers make it interesting in the 9th. A run on 3 straight 2-out hits by Young. Napoli, the RBI single by Murphy. But the win goes to the Rays by a count of 4-1. The series even at a game apiece. Rubber game tomorrow. Rangers Live coming up.